So the Nintendo Switch 2 just came out, and it's apparently flying off the shelves like a Rayquaza out of Mount Chimney, you know what I'm saying? Now that it's been out a few days, I can finally give you my official review. It's great! Wait, that's the Switch 1. Switch 2. It's great! That's the NES. I don't have the Switch 2. That's not what this video is about. Point is, the Nintendo success train keeps on a-trainin'. Woo-woo! How is Nintendo always, with several exceptions, so successful? And what lessons can I exploit? I mean, can we learn from their success that we can apply to our lives and our journey to becoming the all-seeing, all-knowing space baby at the center of the universe? I keep telling you that's the ultimate goal. You know this. That is why I'm making this video. I am going to explain why Nintendo never really fails. Video essay delving deep into the depths of Nintendo's history, mistakes, successes, culture, decision-making process, and probably other stuff. Oh yeah, and I recruited GamerClone to see if he can beat Super Mario Bros. Before this video's over. Good luck, GamerClone. So Nintendo first rode the flagpole down into my soul, inappropriate way to word that, when I was 6 years old and first played Super Mario Bros. And didn't stop for 9 hours. I got a blister on the back of my thumb. To this day, I don't know why, but probably has something to do with how my thumb bends weirdly. Anyway, they have been a staple my entire life, except for the first 5 years, which we will call the dark years. Nintendark. No-tendo? Nintendon't? Pretendo? I like Pretendo. Hang on. They've been a staple longer than Staples, which is something. So yes, Nintendo has been a giant part of my life and kickstarted my video game addiction. But it's a cross-platform addiction. I'm not just a Nintendork. Nintendip. Sure, been obsessed with lots of games, and now I'm going to list them to prove to you that I am multicultural. Yes, the Zeldas, the Metroids, the Marios, oh my, but also Shadow of the Colossus, the Sonics, Final Fantasy, Shining Force, GTA, Ninja Gaiden, Hollow Knight, Battletoads, Stardew Valley, Mortal Kombat, Dark Souls, Elden Ring, King's Quest, Space Quest, Day of the Tentacle, Salmon Max, Full Throttle, Grim Fandango, Myst, Civilization, SimCity, The Sims, The Stanley Parable, Portals 1 and 2, and I'm leaving out many. I'm just proving to you that I'm multicultural. I don't have Nintendo blinders on. I'm not Zeldazzled. I'm not a Switch bit. Or maybe I am a little. Nintendo does benefit from nostalgia, of course. I'm an old man. I grew up on this stuff, and the stuff you're introduced to in your formative years sticks with you. In like 30 years, some old man is gonna make the same video, but it's gonna be about Skibbity Toilet. That said, Nintendo does do unique and interesting things, and yes, they rely on nostalgia, but all the stuff we get nostalgic about would have easily been forgotten if Nintendo were dinguses and failed long ago. They're clearly doing some things right. They do a lot of things wrong. They're clearly doing some things right. They do a lot of things wrong. They're clearly doing something. How do they do it? That's why I grabbed my shovel and did some digging to figure out the core values and principles of this company. But then I realized I was just playing Shovel Knight. So I did some actual digging on the internet. Also with a shovel, and that didn't work, so then I just used my typey fingers instead. And I found some stuff out! Quick word of warning, this is going to be a mostly positive video about Nintendo. I know, they're just a company, like every other, they just want money, 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 money! They're not humanity's heroes, and I also want to acknowledge their competition. PlayStation and Xbox also make great games, innovate, but there's something unique about Nintendo, and that's what I'm trying to figure out. Man, I really sound like a Switch bitch. I don't consider myself a Nintendo fan boy. Okay, why Nintendo never really loses. 1. Their mission is smiles. I'm gonna talk about company mission statements for a bit here. Let's compare the big 3 mission statements. PlayStation
pushes the boundaries of entertainment and innovation starting from the launch of the original PlayStation in Japan in 1994. Today we continue to deliver innovative and thrilling experiences to a global audience through our PlayStation line of products and services that include generation-defining hardware, pioneering network services,
and award-winning games. Okay, now Xbox.
We believe that gaming is for everyone. We strive to make life more fun for billions of people around the world by creating gaming experiences that everyone can enjoy, because when everyone
plays, we all win. Not really. I feel like if everyone's playing, a bunch of people are going to lose. But another version of theirs,
bring the joy and community of gaming to everyone on the planet,
which is similar to Microsoft's overall,
to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more.
Okay, now Nintendo's. Notice what they don't say, at least at first.
Nintendo's mission is to put smiles on the faces of everyone we touch. We do so by creating new surprises for people across the world to enjoy together. We've forged our own path since 1889, when we began making Hanafuda playing cards in Kyoto, Japan. Today, we're fortunate to be able to share our characters' ideas and worlds through the medium of video games and the entertainment industry.
Do you see the difference? Yeah, maybe it's just semantics and mission statements are just stupid words on paper, but I do think that they mean something here. Look what they don't mention till the very end. Video games. They talk about bringing smiles and forging your own path. They want to share their characters and ideas and worlds. It just so happens that right now they're doing it through the medium of video games and entertainment, when they used to do it through playing cards. Xbox talks immediately about gaming and wanting to bring it to billions of people, everyone on the planet. It's more about scale than anything else. And PlayStation talks about pushing boundaries, generation-defining hardware, and a global audience, which also seems about scale, but also getting to the cutting edge of technology. Nothing necessarily wrong with any of these, but Nintendo's mission statement really does reflect how they work as far as I can see. It seems their primary focus is providing accessible fun, and it goes back a long time. And to make sure they're prioritizing fun, next on the list, they prioritize lateral thinking with withered technology. Gunpei Yokoi, who's been with Nintendo since 1965, created the Game & Watch handheld, produced the Game Boy and Metroid, but then left Nintendo in 1997 when he died. That was rude of Nintendo to let him go just because he died. They could have done a Weekend in Bernie's sort of thing. Anyway, he had a philosophy known as lateral thinking with withered technology, also translated as lateral thinking with seasoned technology. Basically, you take salt and you put it on technology. No, he's saying expensive cutting-edge technology can get in the way of innovation. And there are many examples of Nintendo following this philosophy. The Game Boy, for instance, they chose to go with rudimentary grayscale graphics when they could have gone full color because it was cheaper and better for battery life. They made the Wii a more lo-fi game system because they could focus on the innovative motion controls. At the time, longtime Nintendo guy, creator of Mario and Zelda, Miyamoto said, "State of the art, more like state of the fart." No, that's not what he said. "We started with the idea that we wanted to come up with a unique game interface. The consensus was that power isn't everything for a console. Too many powerful consoles can't coexist. It's like having only ferocious dinosaurs. They might fight and hasten their own extinction." And just like the Wii, the Switch was more lo-fi than its competitors because it prioritized being handheld and being a ground-held console combined. It wasn't even cutting edge when it came out, and that was 8 years ago, and it's still super popular. It's still my go-to despite having a PlayStation. It's just, I don't know. I'm a Switch bitch and I'm proud. Not a sponsor. Personally, I don't give a shit if the graphics are as smooth and as realistic as possible. It's just, I just want to enjoy the game. And I grew up with video game graphics at their worst, and it was fun then, so I'm fine. And the fact that Nintendo doesn't push for realism, but instead kind of quirky, colorful stuff, makes it timeless. The graphics will never stop looking real if they never even looked real to begin with. Hey. And what's fun is fun. When someone sits down to play chess, they're not like, "Not enough RAM." Or if someone's like, "Hey, want to go play catch?" Okay, but that baseball better have OLED. I can still pick up the original Super Mario and still have fun. I'm too busy right now, though. That's why I have my clone doing it. Maybe it won't be fun if I make it all the way to 8-1 and die in my last life. Gah! Couldn't save it back then. Kids today are too coddled. Speaking of being coddled, 3, they prioritize accessibility. From quotes I've read, it seems like Nintendo's priority is to make games accessible to everyone, gamers and non-gamers alike. In doing this, it seems like they will reach a different audience than their competition. And I do the same thing. My videos are meant for everyone. Todos. Tutti.
How to pronounce this word in Italian? Tutti.
Tutti.
Tout le monde.
Tout le monde.
Minna.
Minna. And you know who else cares about accessibility? The sponsor of this video, ZocDoc. Thank you for sponsoring. Let's take a moment to talk about this. Don't let gridlock, healthcare, poppycock clean your clock. Get your docs on lock with ZocDoc. It makes spotting the proper doc a walk in the park. Finding the right doctor will have your head rocking back and forth like a shuttlecock. Okay, enough rhyming. Finding the right doctor is full of worries. Do they take the right insurance? Are they nearby? Are they the right kind of doctor? What kind of music are they playing in the lobby? Rock? Bach? Schlock? Okay, I can't stop rhyming. Well, guess what? ZocDoc takes care of all of that for you, except for maybe the music in the lobby. Wear headphones, but not when you're talking to your doctor. ZocDoc is a free website where you can search and compare and contrast high-quality in-network doctors and find the right one that takes your insurance and fits your needs. You kids today with your save games don't know what kind of a miracle this is. Back in my day, I didn't know how to find a doctor, so I just ate a banana. Too many, actually. It really affected my digestion. And I didn't know what to do about it because I couldn't find a doctor, so I just ate another banana. What I'm saying is I wish I had ZocDoc back in the day because finding the right doctor is not, unlike Nintendo, fun. They make it easy with more than 100,000 healthcare workers within every specialty. From mental health to dental health, eye care to skin care, elbow care to schmelbo care. I've already done too many rhymes. I got lazy with that one. You can filter for insurance, location, specialty, and check verified patient reviews to make sure you're getting the right fit, and it happens super quick. Most appointments happen between 24 and 72 hours, and sometimes same day! Same day! China, can you say same day? So flock to ZocDoc.com/WheezyWaiter to interlock with cream of the crop docs at your local spot who can lock in your time block. Such a dork. Who can lock in your time block faster than a sparrowhawk so you can live long and prosper like Mr. Spock. Back to Nintendo. Okay. Oh, right, I didn't mean back to playing Nintendo. That sucks. Okay, so we're talking about how Nintendo tries to make it so any schlub who knows nothing can pick up a Nintendo and just start playing right away. One of the ways they do this is they try to make their tutorials playthrough tutorials. They don't do it with every game, especially these days, but they did do it, and sometimes they do it.
What I mean is they make them very minimal or seemingly non-existent, but you learn through action. They don't do it as much these days, and apparently the new Switch 2 tutorial is pissing everyone off because you gotta pay $10 for it, and it's not even that good. Anyway, allow me to explain teaching through action instead of tutorial.
The first level of Super Mario Bros. Is a great example. Mario starts in the far left corner looking right, implying that you have to run that way. And when you do run that way, you see the first ever Goomba in history. Most people probably run right into him and die. Then you learn what happens when you die, and you learn that those things will kill you. So the next time you try to jump, and you hit it, and that's how you kill him. And then you see these shiny question mark box. Obviously you want to hit it, so you do. A mushroom comes out, it bonks the pipe and comes back at you. It's hard to avoid. You hit it, you get big. You learn that the mushroom is not an enemy, but a thing that makes you big, and you can get big. You're having fun, you're learning. We'll call it flirning. However, all this accessibility means that Nintendo has the impression of being too easy for hardcore gamers. And that's often true.
Though there are certainly exceptions.
Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are two of my favorite video games of all time. Both of them were actually maybe a little too easy for me, though. Didn't matter, I just had a lot of fun. But when you're trying to please everyone, them's the breaks. As Ricky Nelson said, well, it's alright now. I learned my lesson well. You see, you can't please everyone, so you got to please everyone except for the hardcore gamers, or everyone except people who don't like little kid-looking bright-color video games, or people who don't like video games at all, or people who just want military simulations or first-person shooters or realistic-looking graphics, or please yourself. But if these games are too easy for hardcore gamers, why not add difficulty settings? Well, Miyamoto has a philosophy on that also. Let me throw another Moto quote at you, as I'm now going to call them. Maybe I'll never call them that again. One of the issues with action games is how to make something that can be enjoyed by all skill levels, from beginners to more advanced players. One way is to add an easy mode, but I think the best method is when a player can adjust the difficulty himself while playing. What? I came across a really good video describing the invisible difficulty settings within Mario games. It says that you can take the middle path in the game, but there's usually 3 paths. Difficult path, the middle path, and the easy path. For instance, warping in the first Mario is an easy path, which I'm hoping that my clone is doing because it's not going to have time to finish the game otherwise. And then there are examples of hard-to-reach hidden items within the games that are more difficult to get for more advanced players. Like the one up in the second level, the dungeon level, where it rides along the brick way above for a while and then you got to get it. It's not that hard if you're a moderately experienced player, but it is more challenging than the basic path. Nintendo in general doesn't usually get to the difficulty level of something like Elden Ring or Dark Souls, but sometimes I appreciate the approachability and accessibility of a nice, comforting Nintendo game. And obviously, a lot of the world does too, because they sell like hotcakes. Next on the list, they prioritize innovation.
Look how I fit the word on the screen. Oh my god, so innovative.
Since the beginning, Nintendo has continually iterated on the Mario, Zelda, Metroids, and all the other Nintendo first-party games, which doesn't sound very innovative, but they are innovating within those games, and they're also doing weird, wacky stuff. Here's some zany hardware examples. The original NES had the Power Glove.
What is that? I don't know. I love the Power Glove. It's so bad.
It's so bad. The gun, and does anyone remember the robot called Robot? They added the name Rob for the Americans, which stood for Robotic Operating Buddy. You remember that? No, many of you don't, because you weren't even born yet, and you've never seen a YouTube video of someone else talking about it, because you only watch my videos, because you know what's up. Well, it did disappear pretty quickly, because it was only useful for 2 games, and it was kind of stupid. Virtual Boy was a strange early attempt at VR, sort of. I played one like 20 years after it was defunct, and it was basically a red 3D Game Boy that you couldn't hold in your hand, so it was really inconvenient and uncomfortable and stupid. But they also did the Nintendo DS, a bold move. 2 screens, touch screen. What? But also became the second most successful console in history. So, it was a good call. The Wii console itself. I remember thinking that was kind of weird at first, especially because it was named after urine. But also, motion controls. You expect a video game player like me to move, much less stand up? Well, it turns out you were right. It was incredibly successful. And the Wii U was also innovative. A handheld and a console combined. It was a horrible failure of a system. Could have been a marketing problem. It was unclear whether it was just an add-on to the Wii itself, but they did take that concept, which led to the Switch. handheld and console in one with controllers that you detach. Seems clunky and weird. It'll never work. It worked big. I'm grabbing it again. And with this, they did Nintendo Labo, cardboard attachments, toys that work with the Switch. A lot of people liked it. Apparently it wasn't super successful, didn't sell as well as Nintendo wanted to, but it wasn't a horrible failure either, but it was pretty wild and innovative stuff. Okay, that's all the hardware innovations. Now let's talk about every single innovation within games that they've done. In Super Mario Brothers, a mushroom makes you bigger. What? That's it. I think that's the only innovation I can think of. Moving on. Number 5, strict quality assurance. Nintendo's a bunch of sticklers. History lesson. After the video game crash of 1983, which I didn't know was a thing until I did research for this video, Nintendo president Hiroshi Yamauchi said, Atari collapsed because they gave too much freedom to third-party developers and the market was swamped with rubbish games. I don't know that he was actually that angry about it, but they also implemented a seal of quality and a strict licensing policy with lockout chips which were region-specific and had to match for the game to work. And they implemented a strict policy of 5 maximum games from third-party developers per year, meaning other companies besides Nintendo who make games could use Nintendo's system, but only 5 times per year, 5 games. This was their way of avoiding another crash, flooding the market with low-quality games. Also, you know, maybe they went on a power trip. A power glove trip. It's so bad. But in that time, Nintendo made a lot of their own first-party games, and have done since, which is one reason they probably make way more first-party games than PlayStation or Xbox. And they're exclusive. You can only ever get your Marios and your Zeldas and your Animal Crossings on Nintendo systems, and they're reaping the benefits. The Nintendo Switch has 72 first-party games that have sold over 1 million copies, the most ever for any console in history. The PlayStation 4 had 19, so it pays to make your own game as a... What am I doing? And you know how many first-party games I have? 0. Shameful. But to be fair, I'm not a video game system. How do they churn out these quality games? Well, turns out the process is extremely slow. Nintendo is a Kyoto-based company. In an interview, former Nintendo executive Dan Adelman says that the Kyoto style creates a culture where everyone is an advisor and no one is a decision maker, but almost everyone has veto power. This means that it's very easy to shoot down ideas and takes a long time to get anything done, and bold decisions usually just come from the top. It winds up being that the most senior executives at the company cut their teeth during NES and Super NES days. I didn't know those systems did teeth sculpting, but anyway, and do not really understand modern gaming, so adopting things like online gaming, account systems, friends lists, as well as understanding the rise of PC gaming has been very slow. This might be why Nintendo first-party games tend to rely on old characters, which were probably created by some of the people at the top, that have a consistent feel and quality that we come to expect. It's a me, a Mario, or it's a me, Donkey Kong, or it's a me, Metroid. That's not my actual name. You know, quality like that. Come on! Wah. Sorry, I had to do Waluigi, Nintendo's best character. And yet, since their core values are about innovation, forging a new path, finding new surprises, they still do bold, innovative things within tradition. So that might be why Nintendo just Nintendos all the time, you know? So maybe it's not so great for young people working at the company, but it does seem to have worked out for Nintendo in the long run, because last thing on the list, 6, incredibly strong, decades long, let's write a song, bibbity bong, strike those last 2. Brand. Nintendo has all these exclusive, nostalgia-riddled properties that they can rely on every time they sell a console. But the reasons they have these properties and they have lasted so long is because of all the other things I said on this list. There's no guarantee that these things would have stuck around if they started making crappy versions of them. But I don't think they're gonna. I mean, some of you probably think everything Nintendo makes is crap, but that's just like your opinion, man. Anyway, I look forward to a very healthy, kind, in good faith discussion in the comments, because from what I see, people don't really have very strong opinions about this stuff. So to recap, Nintendo, they prioritize smiles, they use withered technology, they strive to entertain everyone, not just a niche, or a niece, that's just one person, or a niece, that's just a licorice flavored herb. They ain't afraid to get weird with it, or jiggy with it. They might be afraid to get jiggy with it. They obsess over quality, and they have built a brand so strong you couldn't knock it over with a power glove. It's so bad. So what I think I learned from this is, if you know clearly why you're making something and who you're making it for, you don't need the best tools, just the right ones. And if you make sure you take those tools and you make the right quality, then you can get weird with it and discover new surprises that people didn't even know they wanted. And that's why, major announcement, I'm launching my new brand of beard growth hormone, available in stores everywhere for a limited time. Oh, time's over. It's not in stores anymore. No, but for real, I think Nintendo's an interesting case, and I hope we have learned a little something from them. Now, Real announcement, I made a documentary about Japanese Green Bay Packer fans. It showed at the Wisconsin Film Festival, and it was one of the best nights of my life. It was at this venue called the Barrymore. 700 people were there. I never watched a movie with 700 people before, and they were so into it. It felt so good. It's a movie about super fans in Japan who were flown over to a Green Bay Packer game and their experience and why they like them. And it's really about connection with people from other parts of the world around a shared passion. And it's showing again in Milwaukee at the Oriental Theater on September 5th, and you can get tickets right now, linked in the doobly-doo. We're going to try to show it other places at other times, but there's no guarantee, and eventually it will be available for everyone in the world, but I'm not sure when. But I want to recreate that amazing experience at the Barrymore, so if you are in the area, or if you've always wanted to visit Milwaukee, come on over, September 5th. I'm going to be there. I'm going to do a Q&A, not a quality assurance like Nintendo does, but like a question and answer, like Nintendo also does. That is all. Thank you for watching. You can support me on Patreon. You can subscribe. You can like, whatever. I hope this video delivered the consistent quality with withered technology. My camera is getting old. It has overheated twice while shooting this, giving me the flashing overheated sign now. Oh yeah, did he finish the game? I don't know. He hasn't recorded that part yet. I have to overlay it on this. So that'll be done in the future. No, well, what are you talking about? Okay. I guess not. I just got Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury. I've been putting it off. I was like, I don't want to play another Mario game. But then I was making this video. I'm like, I want to play another Mario game. And so I got it. And it turns out it's actually really good. I like it. Just kidding. I'm an adult. I'm going to go play Call of Duty or something.
Come on!